We see that everyone has a little bit of a prejudice and we need to overcome that. I feel like we sort of dehumanize people who we don't like, and that makes it really easy for us to be prejudiced against them. We can just hate this group of people. We can, and then just remove the fact that they have souls and spirits and just make them terrible people or not even people. And that leads us to being able to like remove their human rights, and we can dehumanize these terrorists and stick them in Guantanamo Bay, or we can stick them in the new prison we're expanding in Afghanistan to move all the people from Guantanamo Bay to that prison. And so we can remove these people's rights, and we can hurt them, and we can do all of these things because they aren't even people anymore. We're that prejudiced against a lot of people in this world. A lot of terrorists, a lot of people who we just are politically not in favor of. We just assume that we're right and they're wrong. We don't even consider the alternative option. That's why we need to not be ignorant, not be apathetic. We need to consider all sides of things so we can get along and not hate each other.
On campus, Amnesty International is involved in protecting human rights through writing urgent action letters, which are letters concerning a certain human rights violation, which are sent to political leaders who can resolve the issue.
We're not just writing to the president of Peru or wherever. You know, we write to everyone who is involved in changing the situation of this problem. So whether it's, you know, your local senator or the local, you know, governor or the minister of this or the leader of that, like everyone who can make a difference, like on all levels, need to know that the international community is watching them and they will be held accountable, because a lot of times it seems like government officials can slip through the cracks and maybe go unnoticed or blame it on someone else. But by sending these letters to everyone who's involved, it kind of lets them know, like, you know, you're being watched, like you need to do your part to defend the human rights of these people and to change the situation because what you're doing is wrong. So that's one of the big things that we do on campus is we write these letters and we get signatures and we send them to all these places.
People think that Amnesty International is anti-American. If we don't want the people in Guantanamo Bay to be tortured, even though we see that as they're just people, and torture is wrong in itself, no matter where it is, whether it's in our country or in Kazakhstan. We don't connect them with borderlines or barriers. And so whenever you view the world like that, it creates a lot of problem because everyone is brought up with a sense of identity and a sense of self, and a lot of that identity is your nation.
When I first left college, a lot of the organizing I did was around racial identity, which I think is critical. It's what makes me be who I am and comfortable in saying that I'm down to work with people, but we have to talk about white privilege. We have to talk about how women and then women of color are denied places in leadership. That's what hip hop gave me. Essentially, hip hop gave me a voice to talk about this, to organize, to be around movements, you know? But one of the things that's critical about that is that I see the connections between movements, right? So like, if I care about immigrant rights, then I care about women's rights. If I care about police brutality, then I care about healthcare. Nothing for me as someone who works within social justice is disconnected. And that's the problem I'm seeing now amongst a lot of young people, that people only want to work on one specific issue and they're not connected. You can't do that. We don't live in a world that's compartmentalized like that.
I think that everyone can agree, whether we're conservative or we're liberal, whatever our political affiliations, whatever race, ethnicity, or gender we happen to be, that we can all agree that we need to know more about what's going on in this world and help make it a better place.
Movements never happen with millions of people. The reason you get 1 million people on the streets is because there was a dedicated small group of people from the beginning to make that happen.